I've been I've been lately I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that I could be. That I could be. I kinda had I won't even say that I had writer's block, creative block. I think I wanted to kind of ground myself in the idea because when you're me, I'm a grounded individual, but when it comes to my creativity, it is so expansive and abundant that sometimes it's hard to find somewhere for it to land. And the reason why I make my videos so like low key and I use this kind of crappy camera right now, well, for my content, when I work with others, we do other things, but for my content, I want it to feel like a conversation. I don't want it to feel like I'm preaching to you or that I just want it to feel natural. Yeah. And with that being said, I don't think you can create authentically if you are authentic in yourself. You know? Oh, and by the way, I'm in wife's room because her AC in here is overly going. Kind of like the man I'm attracted to. Anyway, um, but like I said, I genuinely don't think you can create authentically if you have not gone to the deepest pits of yourself. I realize that I resonate with art the most when somebody's telling their story. I don't look for my story in a lot of other people. That has never been what I intend to do. I enjoy hearing the stories of others before I try and see how I can fit into that. I'm realizing that a lot of us, and this is not necessarily wrong, but I guess that is connection when we try to fit ourselves in a narrative that somebody else is telling. But I think I enjoy the narrative of hearing the story and letting that space be held for them before I integrate my own story into that. Does that make sense? I'm not like overly going empath too, so like I know a lot of people aren't as empathetic as I. Give like you can take that as a good thing or a bad thing. Trust. Um, but I really love hearing about other people's stories and what they've been through and being able to hold that space for everybody to feel heard. Maybe that's because I know what it's like to not be heard. Hashtag oldest child, oldest sibling gang. But y'all are gonna hear me, and that's why I talk so much. That is why my DoorDash is here. That is why I speak so much because I believe everybody deserves to be heard. But if you want yourself to be heard, you have to hold that space for other people. Now, to circle back to what I said initially, I don't think that your art can be great if you have not done work behind it. Like, we are becoming AI. Like, we're creating to make a product, we're creating to get a bill paid. We're not creating to build a community, to share our vulnerabilities, to embrace our new confident selves. And that is like turning me off a little bit. I'm turned off. Mama's turned off. Mama's not going for that. Mama's underly going, actually. And I noticed that, like, the people that I'm resonating with right now in my life are all emotional beings. And what I personally, I guess this is subjective, believe a true artist to be and look like. I believe that if you are trying to create anything, it has to come from passion. If you're trying to make something, it should be coming from the heart, not because somebody told you to do it, not because you want to be validated for it. What are you doing for you? And that is something I feel like I have said in previous videos, but how do you feel making this content? Where does this stem from? And I hate to say that, trauma should be a part of our art, but I believe that some of the hardships we've been through should be a motivator or innovative or a curator as to why we are creating the art that we are creating. I believe that vulnerability is such a superpower. And I was always vulnerable with myself. I still can sometimes have a hard time letting others into my vulnerability, but I realize when I do that, it always is magical because that is another form of expression, which is art. Art is expression in any way and form. Like, I used to have somebody question what my creativity was, and it's whatever I want it to be, whatever I create and show and express, whatever I have. And that is also another thing, is that creativity doesn't always have to be monetized. And that is something that I think a lot of y'all need to learn. Because when I just drew the other day, my wife, she just painted the other day. Like, she wasn't making no money off that. She just wanted to paint. That is still just as creative as a person who wants to be the next Ryan Coogler. Not a true creative to me doesn't mean it always has to be shown. What, and that goes back to the validation thing. Why are you only creating for it to be shown to somebody else and not just because it felt good and you wanted to decompress? I don't want everybody to become a product, though. Like, I know that a goal for a lot of creatives is to be monetized for that, and that is completely different than only doing it for the monetization. You know, we have so many gifts, and I fear a lot of them aren't being shown because we don't think we're going to make any money. We don't think anybody's going to relate. This may only get 5 likes. Who cares? Like, on bro, who cares? Who, like, hey, we weren't doing it for the money in the first place. We weren't doing it for the money in the first place. We shouldn't have been. And when we create, I just want more people to do it from a place of authenticity and not from a place of trying to be so relatable. You being yourself will get you to the community that does relate to you. Get as niche and as weird. Do not let these people fool you about the oversaturation, because the people that are meant for you will find you. Um, I feel like I don't have too much else to say, but tap into those scary parts of yourself that you don't want anybody else to see. Because the more you run from that, especially if you're trying to be a creative, the more you run from that, the harder it'll be to connect with anybody. I'm telling you, it does start with you. Homie, if you can look yourself in the mirror and see how you are messed up, how the heck you gonna expect anybody else to rock with you? Because the person they're rocking with is not even fully you. Because you don't even know yourself. You're not even showing your most authentic self because you're too worried about the monetization, the liking, the validation of it all. We're killing that in 2026. Like we're leaving that in the past, homie, because we're creating for ourselves, which then will create the community that we need in order to get us where we want to be. From one shaman to another. Ashe.